Good morning, good morning.
Boker Tov, Boker Tov.
Good morning.
Morning, Ronnie.
The power begins today. The singular Re'ei. Re'ei means you, every Jew. Anochi, noten lechem. I'm giving you point of view in plural. Either it's
Stay.
Re'u, each one of you.
The connection is very bad.
What?
The connection, I missed 80% of what you said, Rabbi. I'm sorry.
So what do you think I should do? Larry,
I think
you hear what I'm saying?
it's a little choppy when you turn this way. It seems when you're talking away from the Chumash, it seems a little better. I don't know if David feels the same, or Ronnie for that matter. It's okay. We'll listen. Let's try.
Maybe let me go to the other room. Maybe let me
Yes.
try go to the other room. Do you hear it better now?
Yeah,
Yeah, it sounds fine.
Yes.
Let's hope for the best.
much better, Rabbi Pro. Thank you.
So, Rabbi, you were saying Re'eh is singular, and then
He's not David. He's not at the desk. He just walked out of the room for a sec,
oh,
so he won't hear you.
The question was why does the parsha begins Re'ei talking to the individual, then Lifnechem talking collectively to everyone? So one of the interesting explanations are the Gemara says in Kiddushin, Le'olam yireh adam atzmo, a person should look at himself as a 50-50. You are good many times, you are not good sometimes, many times. But the world is also half-half. Sometimes action of an individual can affect the world. This is the Gemara. So I mean, if the world is a 50-50 and a person is doing a meaningful mitzvah, sincerely, with a full heart, not to get himself a good name, this can tip the scale.
Is that the same thing that you have in the Rambam has it in Hilchot Shuvah, Chatzi Olam Zakai, Chatzi Olam?
This is exactly, this Rambam in Hilchot Shuvah basically copies the Gemara, yes?
Okay.
But remember, over there he says it in Hilchot Shuvah, here the Torah says it, look, every one, there are numerous stories in Chazal, certainly in Chumash, how action of individuals tipped the scale. Not easy, but this is the idea. So look a second. The Torah says here, and this is in page, Rani, this is in 998.
998.
The Torah says, Abed Ta'abdun, when we capture the land and divide it, Abed Ta'abdun et kol hamekomot asher abdu sham hagoyim, asher atem yorshim sham. You have to destroy the idols on top of the mountains and the hills, under the trees. Basically, the idea is we have to get rid of all the idols. Why is the Torah emphasizing abed te'abdu et kol hamekomot asher abdu sham hagoyim? So the truth is, you understand the pasuk here, Rani? Read the pasuk for us, please, Rani.
Which pasuk is it, please?
Abed te'abdu.
Yud bet bet.
Right, Perek Yud Bet, pasuk bet.
Oh, it's at the bottom. Okay. You shall utterly destroy all the places where the nations, one second, that you shall possess, worship their gods on the high mountains and on the hills and under every leafy tree.
Right. So what is that? I'm not destroying really the places. I'm destroying really the idols on the places. So as commented, I'm using an example. When I traveled in Poland, every church used to always be built on top of a hill. This is the major building in the community. The crosses, the trees, the idols were placed in high places to show everyone, look, this is it. So according to Rashi, Be'emet, you learn, Rashi, of course, fills the question. So Rashi says, the Torah didn't mean to destroy the place. The mountain doesn't become a sur. It's only the idols on top of the mountain. So Rashi learns, what should you destroy on the mountain? Listen to what Rabbi Michal Feinstein, the nephew of Rabbi Feinstein, the son-in-law of Rabbi Brisk, says, listen carefully. If you ever saw a service, let's say in the Vatican, yes, everything is done with a lot of glory. The garments, the customs, the
Wonder.
very, very often, in order to show that something has an importance, you create externally you blow a lot of bubbles around it. You build, says Rabbi Michal Feinstein, if you can destroy the makom, remove all the external soldiers, politicians, kings. Why are we always associating a king on a chair with the beautiful garments? He's a 000, the same as a garbage collector in the street. But look at him. Abed te'abdu et kol hamekomot. It's a very difficult. Salim Ben Baji told me, he saw for a second, after the parade in Manhattan says to me, he never understood what idol worshiping was until he saw it. What are they? But can you imagine millions of people are coming to watch? Look at him. What are they? They are the same people that you see on the train, on the street, but they are able to throw a ball. Why should I show them kavod? But look at them. They make millions of dollars. Here it's a very deep Torah. Abed te'abdu et kol hamekomot. He brings.
I mean, strip away all the
All the
fanfare and all the
enhancements,
glitz and the glory.
all the enhancements.
Around it, and you will see that inside there's nothing. He brings a fascinating Midrash Tanchuma. You hear? Midrash Tanchuma says that one of I think Rabchia, whatever, saw a platoon of Roman soldiers. You can imagine how they look, dressed, the hats, the helmets. And he was showing it telling his uncle how impressive this was. He took him to a vineyard and he showed him the flies near the grapes. And he said, you see the flies? The soldiers are exactly like the flies. What is he saying to him? he's saying to him, the only thing that impressed you really was, their weapons, their dresses, the uniform. He comes to his father and he told him, I was excited about it. My uncle showed me this. His father says, really? He took you to see the flies? The flies are at least fulfilling the mission Hashem created them for. They're not trying to blow air around themselves. Those this is big stuff if we think about it. Yeah.
Well, but Rashi is really not talking about the Mekumot. He's saying Tabidun only Elohehem.
Correct, David. Of course, David. The pshat is destroy the idols. So Rashi says, I bet Abdul et HaMekomot, not the Makom. Or the Makom possesses. Okay, of course, Rashi is a champion of pshat.
Rav Michael Feinstein is who's his father?
His father was the brother of Moshe Feinstein, and his father was the Rav of Bris, one of the Geonei Ador. Anyway, look a second.
So, it's they're destroying the atmosphere because the atmosphere enhances the perception of reality. They call it in the marketing the sizzle and the steak. And sometimes the sizzle is even more apparent and more impressive than the steak itself.
Of course.
Yeah.
Rabbi Prague, when I was in Bhutan and I was in Nepal, we don't see it here. If you saw the Buddhas, and they are so huge that when you stand in front, forget how faputs they are in gold. Yeah. If you stand next to them, you look like Kachagavim Be'enehem. And they're surrounded by people. It's so unbelievable, and there's nothing there.
No, but this is really exactly the point.
It's frightening how big they are. And
Rav Soloveitchik has an article on it. All the churches used to be is huge structures. A lot of the impact. I mean, but today we have shuls like this too. Rav Soloveitchik says a shul was never something very big and impressive.
Yeah.
Because the private experience you have being in a place is what makes the place.
But it should be according to the Rambam, right? We've learned that the shul should be on the highest point of the town, but it doesn't say it should be faputzed with gold and silver and everything.
Correct. Right. And תשמע דבר עמוק מאוד. The Gemara says in Masechet, I think it's Tanit, עיר שגגותיה, the roofs of the houses are taller than the shuls, will be destroyed again. What's wrong with us? The idea of the shul to be the tallest is not to impress the people. It's a statement. The most important house in this community is the shul. עיר שגגותיה גבוהות, a city, the homes that we have, the swimming pools, and the tennis courts are more important than the shul. At the end, it's going to be destroyed. I want to show you a very interesting pasuk.
So, Rabbi, are we saying that Yahadut, as opposed to the other religions, Yahadut doesn't put an emphasis on Batei Knesset being so splendid
and big and impressive and marble? Of course, as you mentioned before, Larry, it has to be nice. Of course, it's a Beit Hashem, yes, but it's not. The size is to show how important this is to me. Okay, there is a very fine line, yes. Look a second. We touched it last night, but I would like to show you another. Look on page 1010, it's Perek Yud Gimel. If you look at Pasuk Yud Chet, The Torah says after we do what we have to do in Ira Nidachat, we're not supposed to take anything from Ira Nidachat. In the middle of the pasuk you have V'natan lecha rachamim v'richamecha v'yirbecha kasher nishba la'avotecha. See the pasuk?
Yeah.
Where were we holding, Rabbi? Which
13:18, Ronnie.
13:18.
Pasuk Yudchet.
13:18.
Last night we mentioned the Or HaChaim HaKadosh that says because so many Jews killed so many Jews because idol worshippers, we might lose the sensitivity for human life, we might lose compassion. Hashem promises, this is the Or HaChaim HaKadosh. Listen to what the Gemara says. The Gemara says, from this pasuk, ונתן לך רחמים וריחמך. כל המרחם על הבריות, if you are compassionate, you're merciful on people, Hashem has rachmanut on you. Okay, so this is the general statement. Comes the Zohar in Parshat Vayera. Listen what the Zohar says. Please listen to the Zohar. The Zohar says, if potentially a decree is looming on a person, Hashem benatan lecha rachamim. The Zohar, the language of the Zohar is, Hashem would send a destitute man to you. If you pick up the ball, v'richamecha. You hear?
Wow, wow.
Benatan lecha rachamim v'richamecha.
Wow.
It's a new pshat completely.
Wow.
I'll give you just an example. Lot, the night before Sodom was destroyed, the Malachim are coming to him. I mean, if he takes them in, he's putting his life in danger. In this city, it's a no-no. And as we saw at night, Lot took them in. This is V'natan lecha rachamim. Hashem gave him the opportunity to show his compassion, and the next day he was saved.
Rabbi Prague?
Yes.
When you read, based on what you said, and we talked about it a little last night, the use of the word v'davak, and then you have rachamim. So I'm thinking maybe the word davak was put there, or Hashem puts it there because when you go back to the famous thing, davak, how eich ben adam dovek or nidbak l'Hashem, mahu chanum afatah chanum.
What it says,
then you go to rachem, mahu merachem, atam merachem, and they use that word maybe to be a trigger.
The Gemara says numerous times, "V'halachta b'drachav." How can you emulate the ways of Hashem? Mahu rachum afatah rachum, mahu chanun afatah chanun. Look a second how far this goes. Rachel didn't have children.
Yeah.
Vayizkor Elokim et Rachel. What does he remember? That the night of the wedding, she gave everything to her sister. Was she obligated? Definitely no. Was it wise? Definitely no. But V'natan lecha rachamim, Hashem sent her an opportunity that she didn't realize was the biggest investment of her life. Because when the pasuk says Vayizkor Elokim et Rachel, she says, what did Hashem remember? Hashem remember what she did to her sister. So the reason why 4 or 5 years later she has a child by the name of Yosef is because V'natan lecha rachamim, she picked up, not knowingly, obviously. Tell you a very fascinating story. I read it in a few places. This is years ago. In Yerushalayim, you have, this is 100, 120, you have sections of homes that carry names of the donors, Batei Broida, Knesset. One of these, like 10, 20, 30 homes have a name Batei Wittenberg. Wittenberg. Who is Wittenberg? Mr. Wittenberg was in Europe a wealthy, successful, good man, supported the community. One of the people of the community comes to him and says to him, look, I'm about to marry my daughter, but I really don't have. He says to him, you have a business? He says, I cannot publicize it, but my business is doing very bad. Okay, so he gives him, let's say, $1,000. Says to Mr. Wittenberg, I'm really in a desperate situation. So he says to him, look, there are other organizations in the community. Okay, but the guy is pressing. Mr. Wittenberg says to him, okay, how much money do you need for your daughter's wedding? I'm making it up, 20,000 rubles. So I'll give it to you. He gives him the money, and as the guy is about to leave after he thanked him so much, Mr. Wittenberg says to him, please don't forget to invite me to the wedding. Said it with a smile, yeah? The guy says, of course. Listen carefully. It's the day of the wedding. The klezmers, the music is playing already. The guests are starting to come. And the father of the bride remembers, I forgot to invite Mr. Wittenberg. He made the wedding. He runs to the rabbi, and the rabbi says to him, I'll tell you what. Let's take the orchestra. Remember, this is klezmer, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's take you and your kids. Let's go to his house and bring him with us. This is the invitation. You know that?
Nice.
Beautiful idea. So here is the music playing now in the small village or big village, and people are singing, walking towards the palace of Mr. Wittenberg. In a very unusual way, his house is almost totally dark. The gates are closed. One of the people jumped over the gates, opened them. They go in, it's dark, except on the left in the kitchen, they see light. Everyone is walking to the kitchen. You hear Mr. Wittenberg and his wife on the floor, handcuffed.
Oy.
And all the jewelry, gold, and possessions of the house are on the table.
Wow.
Which means the music basically chased away the robbers right there.
Saved their life.
Mr. Wittenberg obviously says all the money on the table, all the gold, silver I'm donating to build a few homes in Yerushalayim. This is Batei.
Wow.
Let me ask you a question. 2 months ago, when Mr. Wittenberg decided to give him the 20,000 rubles, did he know what he's doing? V'natan lecha rachamim. Hashem sent him an opportunity to have mercy on someone. V'richamecha. This is what, at the end, saves you. This is
what perek pasuk is that one?
13, 18.
Perek 13, pasuk 18. But remember, David, the Or HaChaim HaKadosh says, because the Jews killed many Jews in Ir Nidachat, but by nature, when you kill someone, you erase the normal regesh of compassion and rachamim. So the Or HaChaim HaKadosh says, because it happened by you listening to me, I'm going to give you, it's a beautiful pshat, it's pshat.
Rabbi, it sounds to me, I'll say something very elementary. Every encounter I have, almost every time, I say to myself, this person is here for some reason, and I try to act accordingly. As somebody comes to my office and he's a shaliach, I stop everything. He didn't come by accident. He came by a specific time and plan. I feel like I have to respond. I can't say, oh, no, I can't see you now. Unless it's something urgent, obviously, I can't deal with it. But I feel like every encounter I have is not by accident. So I try to act accordingly.
If you feel like that, it's great. But this is really the point is that sometimes the challenge looks too big on us. And sometimes this could be.
But Rabbi, where are these houses? Bet Rittenberg? Where are they? In Jerusalem?
Wittenberg, Vitnberg. Somewhere. I mean, I don't know if you have a good real tour guide to took you to real Yerushalayim.
Wow.
What shechuna doing? What shechuna is that?
But Wittenberg, it's around Geula. If you know what Knesset is, what Oida is, but it is. You realize you said everything on the table. Look a second.
And maybe not exactly related. Years and years ago, I Shalom, Alev Shalom, one of the founders and leaders of our community, was a very wealthy man, and people used to come to him, and even they were competitors, that he gave them merchandise so they could start their own business, even the same business. But Ralph Tower, Alev Shalom, was a major philanthropist. The community went to him and wanted to borrow some money. And I'm giving this anecdotally. He said, well, what collateral do you have? I don't have anything. I'm just going to do my business and I'll pay you back. I said, what do you have? No, I'll pay you back. I'll pay you back. So somewhat reluctantly, Mr. Chalom gave Ralph Tower the money he needed to start his business. And on the way at the door, he told Ralph Tower, but I want to make sure you promise me that you get 10% of your profits you're going to give to charity no matter what. I give you that promise. Ralph Tower became one of the biggest philanthropists in the community because Mr. Chalom told him, make sure you give 10%. When he left the place. And of course, he paid him back every dollar, but I can't think of anybody who was more philanthropic than Ralph Tower, Alev Shalom.
It's a perfect example. Yeah. I was in Deal one Shabbat, and Ralph Tower made an appeal. And he told over the story, but listen what he added. I mean, when he say it. When he told him, give 10%, he says, I'm not obligating you, because if I'm obligating you,
I made a variation.
Only you have to add it.
Yeah.
If he's obligated to pay more, basically it's a bit. Ralph Tower forces me to give 10%. Says, I ask you to do it on your own.
Yeah, beautiful. And his grandson once said in his name, he said, my grandfather told me that it takes a big man to make a buck, but it takes a bigger man to give it away.
yeah. Look a second on 10:16. This is Perek Tetvav. Perek Tetvav. An amazing pasuk. Look at pasuk Yud. Rani, 10:16, pasuk Yud.
Tetvav Yud?
Yud, yes. The psukim are talking there by giving a loan before Shemitah or giving tzedakah. Naton, titen lo.
Double language.
Right, double language.
And the very next pasuk also double language.
Exactly, velo yara levavcha betitcha lo. Don't feel bad. כי בגלל הדבר הזה יברכך השם אלוקיך בכל מעשיך ובכל משך ידיך. You see here exactly the same point here. Yeah? Sometimes you're taking a chance. Give him. Don't feel, am I sure that he's giving back? Now remember, we have to be very careful because there are many, unfortunately, Ramaim, liars in the market, but the concept. But listen.
But Rabbi, is this pasuk talking about tzedakah or is this talking about giving a loan?
This is the pasuk is really talking about a loan. But look at the next pasuk. Pasuk Yud Aleph, David. כי לא יחדל אביון בקרב הארץ. Because you see, for desperate people will not cease to exist. So this is really the point we made before. But listen what I saw last night, something really fascinating. The Rambam in Perush HaMishnayot on Masechet Avot. Here, the Rambam is in Perek Gimel Mishnah Ted Masechet Avot. The Rambam says, if you have 100 people and you give each one $1, remember the dollar today means penny, but or you can give it to one man. Keep in mind that it's always dangerous to say it. Says the Rambam, you're better off giving to 100 people.
Sure.
Because every time you gave them, you're forcing yourself to give. You become a giver and a giver. If you give it to one man, You
It's
definitely
over.
got a lot. And what you did is great. So this is how the Rambam learns. Now you realize in practical lives you have to know how to use this Rambam, but the concept, which means every time we give, deep inside, I'm giving something in mind. Doing it again and again, basically
It's a habit.
makes you a habit of becoming generous.
Rabbi Prague?
I want to say more than habit. Hopefully, it makes you comfortable in doing so.
Good. Yes.
Because there's an innate thing. People don't want to give away what they have per se. It takes a mentality to say, I'm happy to give it away. I'm comfortable giving it away.
Yeah.
Rabbi Prague?
Yes.
So we had in the Shema, we have in Shamoa Tishma'u. We just had Avei Tabdun, and now we have Naton Titain. And in each time, Rashi, we just learned both of them. Rashi has a explanation why it's doubled, or the way it's about Avei Tabdun. It's interesting why he doesn't have anything on Patoach Tiftach.
Okay, so yeah, in a minute, yeah. So first listen carefully to the Naton Titain. If you have the Rambam's idea in mind, let's read the pasuk again. Naton Titain. If you give, and you give again, not once.
Oh.
Velo yeira levavcha. This helps you feel comfortable giving. Velo yeira levavcha.
The practice, so to speak.
If you are giving only to one person, if you're giving only to one person, yes. So Larry is asking,
how come Patoach Tiftach?
The Patoach Tiftach. My friend, look at the Rashi Pasuk Chet. Larry, you see what Rashi is not saying it here? You looked.
Oh, yeah, there we are.
You looked.
See, I skipped that. See, that's but
and he looked at Pasuk 11.
Yeah, but you see, he's consistent. It's unbelievable how consistent.
Actually, he's very consistent, and if you look at Mishpatim, you have it. Look at the Rashi, Patoach Tiftach, Afilu Kama Pa'amim. This is exactly Rashi is saying that. Exactly.
Yeah, interesting.
It shows you how little I know that I didn't know that pasuk.
And this is not related per se, but there was with V'natenu, where it's reflected, goes back and forth. V'natenu, right? It's a reflexive, the beginning and the end. That you read it backwards and forwards. It means technically, once gives, it comes back.
And then he has Vahavei Ta'avitenu. It's fascinating how this part of the Chumash doubles up.
Wonderful.
Every time in the Gemara, when you have a double language, every time there is a drasha, yes. Now listen to something very interesting. Look a second.
It's six. There's 6 double languages in this little parasha. Patoach Tiftach. Naton Titain.
Yes.
Havet Ta'avitenu.
Right.
Ha'anik Ta'anik.
Right.
And then right after that, one more time. There's got to be something. I'm sure there's something very deep.
No, but every time, David, this is the point. Every time you have look a second. This is very interesting. Look.
Again.
Go to page 1004.
1004.
What perek?
The perek Yud Bet. Pasuk Chaf. Listen carefully. Let's read carefully the psukim. כי ירחיב השם אלוקיך את גבוליך כאשר דיבר לך. Hashem is fulfilling this promise, and you are taking over Israel. ואמרת אוכלה בשר, you live in spot. אבל דאגתי בסטייק בשר, כי תאווה נפשך לאכול בשר. The Torah says it's fine. בכל אהבת נפשך, wherever you are, you can eat meat. Why? What is this pasuk? Look a second at the Rashi. כי ירחיב, לימדה התורה דרך ארץ, שלא יתאווה אדם לאכול בשר, אלא מתוך רחבות ידיים. Okay. Don't develop a habit of eating meat unless you can afford it. But look at the next Rashi. וכל אהבת נפשך, אבל במדבר נאסר להם בשר חולין. Here, while they traveled 40 years in the desert, if you want to have lamb chops, you have to take the lamb and bring it as a korban shlamim. More than 90% of the meat remains yours, but don't eat meat unless you offer it as a korban. But now that you're coming to Israel and you live in Tzfat, you live in Haifa, it's a very long distance. I'm giving you permission to eat meat without offering. What is the Torah teaching us?
That really lechatchila, you shouldn't be eating meat unless you're going to elevate it.
This is why big people, not by size and by waist and by weight, big people never ate meat during the week, only Shabbat, yes? Only Shabbat and Yom Tov. The real big ate only on Yom Tov. Yeah? The Torah is telling us we are human, and as human beings, we have a desire to eat meat. It's good, especially if it's cooked well. Meat is so to say, the epitome of materialism as far as food. Yes, a good cake is a good cake, but to bite a good cake is not like you bite a good steak. Steak is steak. Yeah.
Also, animal gives its life, so to speak, in order for you to eat meat. Cake is another story.
Yeah.
But also, it's fascinating the word how Rashi's unbelievable. He starts the pasuk ki yarchiv, and then Rashi says ki yarchiv limdat Torah derech eretz shlo yidei lechol basar ela mitoch rachavat yadayim. It's unbelievable how he ties rachavat yadayim to yarchiv.
Yeah. It's actually Bashu Omer.
Yeah, I understand, but to know it and to apply it and to
right, which means the Torah is really teaching us that our job as human beings is not to totally move away from materialistic life, but to sanctify, do it the right way. In the Midbar, because not only because of the distance, because of the environment, when you eat the lamb chops tonight, remember that it started as a korban, yes?
Mm-hmm.
The way you eat, the amount you eat, and etc., and why you eat. This is the point. I'm using only an example. We know that before we eat, we have to wash our hands before you eat bread. Or before, at the time of the Gemara, we eat fruit that is wet. Says Rav Hirsch, the Kohanim, every morning, before they started the service in Beit HaMikdash, had to wash their hands. What is that? Your hands connect you to the world around you. Before you start the service, clean your hands. Remember, focus on what you're about to do. Says Rav Hirsch, before you eat, remember, this is not it's not the cow is eating grass and you are eating with a fork and knife, a piece of salmon and salad. This is the difference. I'm washing my hands before. I'm eating to enjoy, but to make sure that I maintain a healthy life. But the way I eat, the bracha that I make reminds me, right, not to become too materialistic. You understand? I mean, as a joke, the Hasidim said that the Rebbe so once. It's a story for the joke, but the point is a very good point. He's eating in the sukkah, but he's eating like a cow. So the Rebbe says to him, "You are eating outside of the sukkah. Why do you eat outside of the sukkah?" He says, "Rebbe, look, I'm sitting under the sukkah." He says, "You are eating in your plate, not in the sukkah. Your head is in the plate, not in the sukkah." It's a very big challenge. It's a big challenge. Are you aware that tonight when you pick up the 2 chalis or the 2 whatever pita, it's every day, but Friday night, because we eat bread, Baruch Atah Hashem, you say Hashem, Shulchan Aruch says, lift the bread. Why?
So Yidechem Kodesh Uvarchu et Hashem.
Yeah. And make sure when you say Amoti, that you're holding it in your 12 fingers. There are 10 mitzvot connected to the first piece of bread that you eat.
Nice.
The way you plow, shor v'chamor. Don't ply kilayim. Give leket shikha peya from the food. Which means everything when we are engaged in materialistic activities, in the back of our head, we have to remember, this is Avodat Hashem if we do it right. The Hasidim say, Hashamayim.
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Good.
So, from the second, the message that we're getting from the second
Coming in garbled. Coming in garbled.
Right. In the midbar, they weren't allowed to eat it unless it's elevated. So it sounds like today when we eat, that it's only b'diavad if I'm allowing you to eat meat.
David,
what Rashi is saying is,
David, you're a young Adma Abbasim. If you come to real places where big people eat, you see Hamavdil ben Kodesh Lechol. He eats a steak and he eats a steak. This is exactly the point. The way you made it.
Right, but
this is exactly today. It's exactly the same.
But the question that I was getting to is why. The question that I have is, why did Rashi give us that you're allowed to do it? Oh, if you become wealthy, Derech Eretz is you shouldn't do it until you become wealthy. But it seems that, once you've reached a certain wealth, now it's okay. That message doesn't seem to be consistent.
Only then you're ready to the second challenge, is to elevate the meat. If you cannot afford the $50 cowboy steak, and you buy it, you're showing already that you and the steak are one. Why are you buying steak? To buy chicken or fish. This is exactly the point, David. A man that doesn't have any buys it shows right away. Why are you spending money on luxury, yes? Obviously, this is, you and the meat are one. If it's not a question of economics, you like it, why not? But eat the normal way. Guys, I have to run because I have to make the bus. So everyone.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom. Baruch.
Good Shabbos, a good Shabbos, Rabbi Prat.
Sunday morning, B'ezrat Hashem. Sunday morning. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.